This video is based on a presentation given to a meeting of the Public Access Bar Association concerned with the marketing of public access and, in particular, web-based marketing. It reviews the current situation as far as marketing is concerned, explores some opportunities, and draws some conclusions about the future. In examining web-based or digital marketing, it's worth keeping in mind what the online objectives are. Firstly, we want to acquire, in other words, make potential clients aware of our existence. Secondly, we want to convert those potential clients into actual clients. And finally, we want to keep them. In other words, turn our actual clients, if not into regular clients, then at least ambassadors for our services. This presentation is focused mainly on the acquiring element, in other words, making potential clients aware of our existence. Currently, the bar is addressing the challenge of direct access marketing in three ways. Firstly, most chambers have added a direct access page to their chambers' websites. Some have created specific direct access websites or variations thereof. And thirdly, individual barristers have created their own websites specifically with the intention of addressing public or direct access. In order to assess how effective these three approaches have been, we carried out a survey which involved analyzing a representative sample of each sort, you can see the numbers, and carrying out a series of online tests and then grouping the results into three areas: visibility, in other words, marketing and general promotion; accessibility, how accessible the sites are for disabled people, and in particular, how ready are they to be seen on mobile platforms such as phones and tablets; and finally, how technically advanced are they. The numbers show average scores out of a possible maximum of 10 in each case. This report is freely available to anybody who asks for it, and it is customized for each recipient. We add their scores to the cumulative totals so that they can see how well or not they are performing. Obviously, we are mainly concerned in this presentation with the visibility element. So what do we mean by visibility? Basically, in this instance, we are referring to how well these sites perform on Google's results pages, such as this example here. As you can see, we've typed in the term direct access barrister. It's worth noting that direct access is a more commonly used search term than public access, 590 searches per month as opposed to 210. Something to bear in mind when deciding on a web address. The Google results page is divided into two sections. Firstly, there are the paid ads, where advertisers pay to position themselves against particular search terms. This is known as pay-per-click advertising, and advertisers are charged each time somebody clicks on their ad. The remainder of the results page is what is known as natural listings, the order of which is decided by Google according to its perception of the relevance and quality of the sites and their pages. With this split between paid and unpaid listings, it could be argued that visibility can be bought. However, there are a number of things which need to be borne in mind. Studies have shown that a far greater number of people click on the unpaid listings as opposed to the paid ones. Here we're showing a split of 70-30, although some studies claim that the difference is more like 90-10. It has also been shown that people who click on the paid listings are further along the buying cycle, and that people using the unpaid listings are more likely to be researching. So if you are paying to appear on certain search terms, it makes sense to choose ones which are more specific and less generic. In marketing terms, you should use paid listings tactically rather than strategically. Equally, if you are paying, you need to bear in mind the calculation that your click is going to cost a certain amount, as here, in this case, of the search term direct access barrister, Google claims that the average cost is about £2.50 per click. And in addition, you need to examine your website statistics to assess its likely conversion rate. In other words, what percentage of people landing on your site do what you want them to, in other words, contact you. The average conversion rate for websites is generally around 5%. In this example, therefore, for every £250 worth of clicks, you might get 5 people contacting you. How many of those would actually instruct you is another question altogether. The cost of a click varies enormously. For instance, if you specialize in personal injury, expect to pay anywhere in the region of £50 or £60 per click for a highly ranked ad. And a further consideration, it has been shown that of the 30% of people that click on the ads, a fairly high proportion don't realize that they are clicking on adverts at all. As you can see, Google doesn't make it particularly easy to differentiate between paid ads and natural listings, and they have received a great deal of criticism because of it, particularly from organizations like the Federal Trade Commission in the USA. But it would appear that Google is starting to change its ways and has been experimenting with a new format for its result pages, and increasingly users of its search engines, instead of seeing this, are going to be seeing this, which means the likelihood of people clicking on the ads by mistake is going to reduce quite significantly. It means that the 30% of people who click on ads is going to become even smaller in the future. The obvious conclusion is that in percentage terms, at least, it's probably better to be found on the natural listings than in the paid listings. So what do we need to do to be found in the natural listings? If we examine the screenshot of the results page for direct access barristers that we've seen before and increase the number of results visible, we see a listing for an individual barrister, Rebecca Fairburn. This is impressive because not only is she ranking highly on a relatively generic search term, but her listing stands out. One's eyes are naturally drawn to it because there is a photograph of her as well. And if we look up her scores against the competition, we see that she outscores all the averages, although it's worth noting that, impressive though her visibility clearly is, she's only scoring 6 out of 10, so there is still a lot of room for improvement. Or to put it another way, it probably won't be that difficult to overtake her. So the question is, what is she doing to achieve this degree of prominence? If you click through to her site, this is where you arrive. It's a neat and tidy site, and she addresses her visitors in the first person, which is obviously more likely to engage people, as opposed to most barristers or chambers websites, where all the profiles are in the third person, and therefore more remote. However, there is nothing outstanding about this website. The key to its success can be found by looking at the 3 icons in the bottom left-hand corner of the screenshot. It shows that Miss Fairburn has a LinkedIn presence. She tweets regularly. And importantly, she has a well put together Google Plus page, which, like her Twitter account, she regularly updates. Google Plus is Google's version of Facebook, and not surprisingly, it rewards diligent Google Plus account holders in its search results. To summarize, Miss Fairburn's social footprint is one of the main reasons that her online presence is so effective, and indeed is so much more effective than her Chambers website or her profile within it. However, there is scope for her to do quite a bit more to develop her social footprint. There are plenty of other places where she could create a presence and contribute. For instance, as she specializes in family law, she could consider joining conversation on Mumsnet, where this is a constant topic of conversation, and equally develop a Facebook profile where the same applies. These are just 2 examples of many. In summary, therefore, we can conclude that although attempts have been made by chambers and barristers and the bar as a whole to address the challenge of promoting themselves under the public access scheme, there is still plenty of potential, as our survey revealed, to achieve prominence quickly and cost-effectively. As mentioned before, if you would like a copy of the survey with your own scores attached, then please get in contact with us either by calling us on the number below or using either of the email addresses. or if you have any questions concerning digital marketing or about listing on Go Direct to Barristers, please get in touch. Thank you.